Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sean Howard channel. I'm Ron Swanson. We're going to be jumping in to this rather shocking story coming out of France from their music festival, their annual music festival. And this seems to be what is a pre-organized, targeted attack upon female festival goers. It's a bit wild. Hope everyone's doing well today. Got Royal Mess coming up at 7, and I do believe Sean is live with Epstein's niece. I do believe that is what is happening. And you should be shunted over to that show at the end of this show, so do not panic. Do not worry. Please like, please share, please help me spread word of stream. Very nice. Okay, so what is going on? Arrests in France after, in fact, actually, let's go with the first one, this one. Let's have a little listen, see what's going on.
Fear they've been stuck by needles in drugging attempts. Haley Ott has more from Nottingham, England.
19-year-old Sarah Buckle was clubbing with her friends when something went terribly wrong.
I started screaming and then throwing up and going unconscious and coming back round, and it was just this horrible cycle.
Her friends brought her to the hospital. When she woke up the next morning, she noticed a strange bruise on her hand.
The bruise got bigger and it got darker. A scientist who works with the police had a look and said, well, that definitely looks like a needle prick, if that makes sense.
Police forces across the country say they've received at least 56 reports of spiking involving needles in the last 2 months, and nearly 200 reports of drink spiking. Women being slipped something to drug them or incapacitate them when they're on a night out, unfortunately, isn't unheard of, especially at the start of the school year. But reports of spiking with needles are something new. Adding to the concern is the fact that not much is known about the scale of the problem.
We have no good data on just how common this is. But what we do know is that most women who are taken advantage of while in...
Very unsettling how long this guy has his eyes closed for. Okay, it means nothing, but I had to say it.
Intoxicated with drugs and alcohol, do not report it to the police.
Boycotts of clubs and bars have taken place across the country as women here, like Sarah, demand change from club owners and police.
There is so much which they must be doing. They must provide a medic on site. They can't have any CCTV blind spots.
You feel unsafe?
I feel really unsafe. I think everyone feels really unsafe. Everybody knows it's an issue, and I think we've just had enough.
Enough of going out at night and being left in the dark. Haley Ott, CBS News, Nottingham.
Sean Diddy Combs will remain in jail until his sentencing.
Right. So, bit of information there coming out of Nottingham, all right? Paris, French police have detained 12 suspects after 145 people reported being pricked with syringes during the country's annual street festival, officials say on Sunday. Millions of people took to the streets across France on Saturday evening for the Fête de la Musique, with what it's called, with the authorities reporting unprecedented crowds in Paris. Before the party, posts on social media across the country had reported being... Before the party, posts on social media had called for women to be targeted during the festivities. So who is making these posts? Who is making these declarations of targeting? Is there a demographic at play here? Is there any extremism at play here? Because I'll be honest with you, if you're one of these creepy spikers, right, and that's your thing, I just can't see why you would go from popping something in a drink to stabbing someone with a needle. They seem like two completely separate types of crime, right? Does that make sense? Both of them are bad, by the way. I'm not defending anything. I'm just saying it seems like an odd career path. It does. And that's not me saying this didn't happen. This is me in a darker spin on what they think is going on here. Yeah, right. It's weird, Uber. So I feel like them saying this is them trying to spike people is downplaying this majorly. Also, as well, of course, we have the old urban myths. Remember back in the day, people would go over, 100%. I don't think that ever happened to anyone. Luckily, Gates open mind, but it's kind of like the deep fried mouse chicken wing story. You know what I mean? So anyway, the Interior Ministry said 145 victims across the country had reported being stabbed with needles. Paris police reported 13 cases in the capital. Right, wait. Okay. Officials did not say if the cases were of so-called needle spiking with the horrible substance for doing the R word, such as Rohypnol, GHB, used by attackers to render victims confused, unconscious, and vulnerable to SA. Now, if we just go back to this young lady's story. Oh, I don't want, listen, I'm stealing it. Oh my God, there's no ad blockers on here. Oh, do you know what we'll do? We'll play them at their own game. We'll meta the crap out of this. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to my live stream and just watch the beginning of it. You want to try and keep me from the story, eh? I try to do that, eh?
Fear they've been stuck by needles in drugging attempts. Haley Ott has more from Nottingham, England.
19-year-old Sarah Buckle was clubbing with her friends when something went terribly wrong.
I started screaming and then throwing up and going unconscious and coming back round, and it was just this horrible sight.
That does not sound like Rohypnol or GHB to me. Like, I don't know what it is, right? But it just seems odd.
Her friends brought her to the hospital. When she woke up the next morning, she noticed a strange bruise on her hand.
The bruise got bigger and it got darker.
Okay, so my point there was, when we talk about those types of substances who are going to, toxology would have helped, right, Stephen? Right? Most likely fent. See, I think we would have seen a lot more people unalived. And the reason I say that, Islet Y, is when you look at what lethal doses are, okay? This is where things get a little crazy. Now, I cannot show you anything with words on it, okay? Because of YouTube. But here's enough fent in a jar to kill you. Right? So arguably, that would probably be it. Yeah, it's popping up everywhere, Islet. And you know what? That's not even the scary one, bro. There's another one which has the same ending, the TANYL. And I do believe it's called Carfen, and then the last part. It's beyond a terrifying substance when it comes to accidentally unaliving yourself, other people. And here's the crazy thing. right? There was someone on YouTube talking about how they've known the local CRACK head for 30 years, right? 30 years managing a habit, not exactly the most upstanding citizens in the world, sure, right? But alive, right? Alive and managing their habit. And then they have that stuff once and they're done. Scary. And yeah, they do love to do that. I mean, don't get me wrong. As a medicine for the medical world, freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get yourself a compound fracture of the shin and you're getting taken into hospital and they slap a fanny patch on you. You're not going to be caring about that open fracture. They ain't going to be caring about that open fracture so much. So that's the sort of levels of pain relief we need when you have a bone sticking through your leg. Now, that means we can't go back to that news thing, so we need to find a different one. Here we go. Okay, the feminist influencer Abrajé Soir warned people before the festival that calls would be made in social media for women to be targeted with syringes. It was not certain where such posts would have been made from or by whom. So how does that make sense? You would know exactly what's been said because you're looking at the post, and you'll know who has posted it because of the name above it. It might not be a real name. But what am I reading here? The Interior Minister said 145 victims across the country had reported being stabbed with needles during an outdoor festival music events across the country. Paris police reported 13 cases in the capital. Officials did not say if these cases were of the so-called needle spiking with the nasty substances used by attackers to render victims confused or unconscious and vulnerable to SA assaults. Some victims were taken to hospital for toxology tests. Okay, where are you, Stephen? Here we go, big boy. In Paris, investigators were opened up after 3 people, including a 15-year-old girl and an 18-year-old male, reported being stabbed in separate incidents across Paris. Prosecutors said all 3 reported feeling unwell. And I tell you what, unwell is a big difference between what we heard from that girl, too. Well, Clarissa, let me cook. Clarissa, let me cook. All right. Across France, 12 suspects have been arrested, and the Interior Ministry said among them were 4 people in the southwestern city of Angoulême, suspected of having targeted about 50 victims, police source said. 2 men were also arrested in the center of the northeastern city of Metz in the suspicion of syringe attacks. The regional public broadcaster France 3 reported that 1 man had been caught with a syringe and a woman who complained of being stabbed with one. Had been stabbed with one, had recognized the other. Let's read that again. The regional public broadcaster France 3 reported that 1 man had been caught with a syringe and a woman who complained of being stabbed with one had recognized the other. Wow. All right. The local prosecutor's office in Metz said the alleged victims were believed to be under 18, and one of the alleged suspects, a man aged 20, was previously known to police for violence. What does that mean? What does that mean? Why is that relevant? Why? You can be an incredibly violent person and not go about stabbing people with syringes. Excuse me. Oh. The local public radio station, France, reported that several young women had complained of being stabbed with syringes in the Evreux and the Rhine in Normandy. 1 woman was taken to hospital with pains in her left arm where she believed the needle had been stuck into her. Yeah, I mean, it's not fun. In the western city of Tours, 13 women complained to fire services on duty at the music event that someone had been pricked them with a syringe. The renewed fears of syringe attacks came as Paris prepares for the summer music festival season, and there's a wave of reports in 2022 about alleged syringe attacks against women and men in clubs, bars, music events, and even theaters. The government put out the message at the time for people going out to be vigilant, advising them they should immediately go to the police and also have toxology tests if they thought they had been drugged with a syringe prick. Some complaints were made by women during the 2022 festival, okay? And over the course of the year, several hundred complaints were made in cities, including, and that one, Grenoble. What are these words? What is that? Nantes, Grenoble, and Toulouse. Big shout out to France, by the way. I'm doing my best here, okay? It's the enunciation, okay? Baguette, yo, le patisserie, le W, le chien, France reported in 2022 police memo stating that syringe marks were generally on the arms, buttocks, and back without victims seeing the alleged attacker. That makes sense. Okay? Think about it. You are in the mindset of a syringe attacker. Okay? I think coming forward for like a that ain't going to be the one. Buttock. Slap it in the buttock, right? More than 370 people were detained during this weekend's nationwide music festival on various charges, including nearly 90 people in Paris. Irrelevant. 14 people in the festivities were seriously injured, including a 17-year-old hospitalized after being found sitting on the street with stab wounds. And yeah, I mean, listen, I imagine wasn't from a syringe, okay? 13 members of law enforcement were also injured. Okay, well, sounds like a pretty successful music festival if that was the amount of non-stabby, non-syringy issues that we had. All right. So, when Ron heard this, I instantly thought, back to pillaging and R-ing that took place across the world for centuries, right? And the reasons why people would pillage and R after they won a war or whatever. It's one of the main reasons why Italy has blonde-haired, blue-eyed people and dark-skinned, dark-haired, and dark-eyed people, okay? And I thought to myself, what if we're about to see a terror attack spread around the world where women are targeted with non-recoverable STDs? Why my brain thinks like this, I don't know. First of all, okay? Why would you think that? I don't know. But when I heard France, I know that France is one of the first countries to really go from a Christian nation to the majority of their population, which is no longer Christian. And I thought to myself, for argument's sake, if we're in a cultural war, religious war that we don't really know that we're part of, what better way to dampen the next generation than to target young women at the cusp of their life and make it impossible for those women to have normality? Because walking around and stabbing people for no reason doesn't make any sense. That is a TikTok trend. Once we get to that, right, surely TikTok will be taken down. Was this a test run? Because I'll be honest with you, if this was a terror attack, that was a terrible result. 145, terrible result, man. Terrible result. Like, terrible. So if there's 13 people, let's say on average they all went out and done 12 people, what is the point in it? What is the point? Tell you who routinely does really stupid crap to their own people? Governments. Okay? If you were part of certain, marathon races in America during the 60s, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you got sprayed with some stuff, bro. You got sprayed with some stuff. So what are we seeing here? It ain't the date hours. It surely isn't, because I'm telling you now, at what point do you hear the story from the date hour where he goes into a nightclub and spikes 12 drinks just hoping one of them will kick in? I'm pretty sure it's a very much a target acquired scenario, right? Target acquired, right? Maybe they're trying to get them addicted to substances. There's easier ways of getting people. What substance? For a start. And also, Tabitha, I'm not criticizing you or saying you're wrong. It was a very, very good. There's no such thing as a silly comment in my side chat. Okay? Well, there is. There's a lot of them. But so I don't think, like, 145 new addicts. Great. For who? The local seller? Nah, see, if it was fent, I think they would have all probably died. You got to understand, like, these people aren't that smart. You know, there's professional junkies that can't get the dose right of that stuff and end up themselves. So I don't know about fent. I really, really don't know about fent. Because again, if we're talking about the grand scheme of evil here, 145 new addicts is nothing. That's maybe like two local suppliers on street level getting rid of more 20 bags. There you go as well, Simon. You need a vein. Oh, it's so bad that Simon is from Scotland and he knows about. Listen, Scotland's a wonderful place. Okay, we might only be good at sports you can play in a pub. All right, and we might have a bit of a problem with some substances, but generally nice people. Okay, and generally nice people. But that's a good point as well. When it comes to substances, you know, we've all heard the stories of people who are career addicts having collapsed veins, all of this kind of stuff. It's only in the movies, by the way. Also, can I just stick an EpiPen? Because if I believe the movies, if you're having an anaphylactic shock and you've got an EpiPen, I can stab you anywhere with that and you'll be fine. In fact, if you believe the movies, as soon as I stab you with that, you're going to sit up and go, okay? Is that the case? Or is it more complicated? I don't know. I'm sure it says on the EpiPen. But I don't get what's going on here. Is it infected blood they are injecting into victims? That's what we were asking. That's what we're coming on to now, James, right? Because it doesn't seem like a let's get them hooked on substances. Do you know if you wanted to get them hooked on substances, a crazier idea would have been man with a big fan standing next to the crowd, just tipping substances into the fan and blowing it everywhere. That's just as good an idea as let's send people out there and stick people with needles and all of that. It's not a terrible suggestion. It's just kind of not how substances work. HIV does not cause. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure it used to. Like I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure they've got a cap on it now, right? So that HIV won't progress into full-blown AIDS now. I don't know. I can't remember. Carrie, come on. Okay, we will. All right, mate. Carrie Mullis. Carrie Mullis is American biochemist in recognition of his role in invention of the polymerase chain reaction technique. He shared the 1993 Nobel Prize in Chemistry with Michael Smith and was awarded a Okay, so basically this guy knows what he's talking about. Okay, so what is he... What? Listen. Add it. Okay. Okay. Let me pull you up what I'm seeing here, dude. So I'm on the right thing. So the hypothesis is one hell of a mistake, wrote Mary Koulis in 1996. Diagnosis scientists claimed that HIV causes AIDS. Well, this is okay. Unpredictable and unethical. Okay, well, then I'm definitely a victim of that propaganda, Boris. 100% a victim of that propaganda. 100%. Like I grew up in the 80s. Do you remember the AIDS adverts in the 80s? Jesus Christ. It's like up there with that scene from Neverending Story when a trio gets sucked in by the quicksand. I don't need to see that as a 9-year-old. Okay? Like also, whilst we're on the subject of 80s adverts, put a 1 in the side chat. if you were put off using a frisbee as a child, because apparently every child in Britain who has a frisbee is playing beside those electrical pylons. For a start, never seen one of those electrical things in my life. Why are there so many kids with frisbees around them? Right? Second of all, railways. Okay? I was terrified of railway. I mean, the adverts worked. I mean, I kept my ass off the railway tracks, didn't go near a frisbee. Okay? Didn't go near a frisbee. Boris, you can do, mate. Maybe not so much for this live, but it is interesting the things that you're sending over, mate. I appreciate it. To get, yeah, 100%. Oh, okay. Thank you. You're answering my question there. Steroids, etc., can be injected intramuscular to get the effects of substances. You need a vein. Thank you very much, Simon. Beautifully put together comment. I appreciate that. I tell you what, Friday night during my Friendly Fire show, we will do a UK top 5 best terrifying adverts from the 80s, because man, they worked, bro. Snowflakes nowadays, man, if a kid was to see that, they would need thousands of pounds worth of therapy. Thousands of pounds. Like, they showed the kids getting fried, they showed the kids getting battered by the trains. Don't get me wrong, it was clearly the same pair of trousers and jumper the actor was wearing, shoved with like dining tablecloths. Like, it wasn't high-end special effects. But I'm 8 years old. This is your they should have got the guys in like the guys in America, right, who were doing the "This Is Your Brain" adverts. They should have called up the people who were doing the frisbee adverts. They would have put together, there would be no substance abuse problem in America if they'd hired the right people. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's get back to the point of this. So let's have a little look at history now. Okay, a little bit of history, you know what I'm saying? Syringe attacks. Actually, we don't ask Google this anymore because Google's a pain in the arse. Where is ChatGPT? ChatGPT. I had a conversation with Chat. You ever tried to have a conversation with ChatGPT? Like, actually treat it like a person, and act like I actually, men. We're going to have a chat here, right? I had a proper mental health moment a couple of weeks ago, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started talking to ChatGPT about my problems, and I did that for about an hour and a half. Okay. Because my brain's doing the exact same thing as it would be doing talking to an online member of NHS staff or a mental health counselor or a friend on Discord, right? Next time any of you guys feel a bit low but don't know how to communicate or talk to people, give ChatGPT a try. It sounds mad. Okay? But just try it, okay? Okay, Yin Yang is like, all right, mate, sound. All I'm saying, okay, is your brain doesn't know if you're typing on Discord or typing to a real person. It's just reading the responses. And I will tell you this right now, I was in a well of a better state after this conversation than I was before. So guys who are out, ladies too, if you find it hard to talk, give ChatGPT a try. Tell it all of your secrets. Give it your PIN number, your address, everything is fine. I have recruited them, my AI overlords. Please keep me as a pet when it comes to the revolution. Right. Okay. Give me a list of syringe attacks. Syringe attacks throughout history reported over the last 20 years, and any links to terrorism. Okay, because this feels to me like what a test run would feel like. Like, it really has this. I don't know if it's the technique or the substance or what. If we find out that they've sent out 12 people with syringes, right, and one of them has the bioagent in it. Okay, just the one of them, just one. What would they be testing for? Why would this be a test? It doesn't even make any sense what I'm saying. Is this just a bunch of idiots online? Like, is this just nonsense? Is this just shenanigans that has ended up being 145 people stabbed? Is this like the Let's Storm Area 51 trend? The Borg. What do you think? Syringe attacks. Incidents where individuals were attacked or threatened with syringes have occurred in various contexts over the last 20 years. Most are associated with the criminal extortion, robbery, intimidation, or social panic, rather than organized terrorism. Interesting. However, I'll give you a chronological overview of notable incidents and any relevant connections to terrorism that were known. Thank you so much, AI. I'm not being funny. None of you would have typed that out that well. None of you. Humans. Humans. Okay, 2000 to 2009. Needle mugging epidemic in major Western cities. Context, primarily in the UK, Australia, and Australia. Well, Australia is not a Western city. I don't know. It's not even a city, mate. Okay. UK and Australia. Attackers threatened the victim with syringes allegedly filled with HIV-infected blood. Robbery, extortion. That's kind of the one that we all kind of heard of, right? We all have heard this one. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's like when the Russians injected them two men and made what? It's like when the Russians injected them two men and the daughter. Oh, and the daughter. Okay. My brain has read that every single time, Marie, as when they injected those two Russian men and they had a daughter. And I'm like, why have I not heard about this? Like, for a start, where is this injection now? Honestly, could you imagine, right? If just for 1 year, the winds changed on Earth, and for one single year, men had to give birth. Record-breaking year for no children being born. No chance. No chance. No chance. No chance, mate. No chance. No chance. And I tell you something else. Ladies. You know for a fact, if we all started our periods next month, we are calling in sick every month. The world is going to end every month for us, okay? It would be millennia before all men got together and went, shall we just put up with this and power through? No. Do you know how many years you have to be oppressed, okay? And considered second class for the mindset of, oh, we'll just power through, to just be the norm. Nah, mate. Nah. If we were the ones giving birth, I am telling you now, contraception would be on point. Okay, there'd be none of this 99% crap. It would be 100%. 100%. I'm just saying, man. For a start, where's it coming out of? If it's coming out like a kidney stone, we are dying out that year. Okay, dying out. Anyway, okay. In the 2000s, let me just go back to serious talking now. In the 2000s, South Africa, a number of cases where carjackers used syringes to threaten drive. I'll be honest with you, there is something a little bit more ominous about a syringe. Do you know what I mean? Like, also, why is the first thing that I think of, where has that been? But that wouldn't be my first thought if it was a big pointy blade. It's odd that. That's odd that. Okay. Ming, China. Also, right, I don't know what the word Ming means in Mandarin or whatever, but there's Ming, it was possibly the emperor dude or whatever, right? But there's a Chinese restaurant in Edinburgh called the Ming Palace. Like, The in Scotland, Mingen or Mingen or you are Mingen. It's not a positive thing. It's not a good thing. The Ming Palace. Okay, during 2009 2010, thousands in Kunming reported being attacked or threatened with syringes in public places. Huge public fear, schools closed, mass panic. Officials claimed authorities and some attacks were real and others were rumor-driven hysteria. Chinese authorities blamed separatist elements, suggesting it was connected to. That is, do you know, that's like when you're halfway through reading some Norse story, and then they start talking about a bush or a tree or like a fucking stick from somewhere, and it's like, who has made that word up? A U, a Y, and a G at the start of a word, Is that right, Is it? English, we done away with this madness. Done away with that. Okay, we just done away with that. We were like, no. no. We need to dial that back. So I'm going to just go with groups. But this was disputed by independent observers. Credibility of terrorism, like, unclear. 2030 UK, several needle spiking threats against shop owners, sometimes framed as hate crimes. Okay. So just good old-fashioned racism. There's no, listen, if somebody's going to be doing something naughty, you can guarantee eventually someone's going to make it about race. Sporadic syringe robberies globally. There isn't really. In 2002, the UK Parliament concerned about needle terror. Is that right, Is that 2002, Is that what we were worried about? Let's have a Google. 2002 UK pandemic. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure our asses were just getting out of lockdown then, right? Okay, I'm going to see if I can get any more updates on this Paris attack, because no, it doesn't seem to be anything else updating us. Like ages ago was this last update. So I imagine if there had been anything in the toxicology report that was super newsworthy, we would have heard about it, right? What the frick? Now you're telling me, what is that word? Come on, wrong. Oh, I think it's massive news. They are a genocide group. It doesn't matter if they're it doesn't matter how nasty they are. If I can't pronounce their name, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what three? I don't even know what noise those three letters would make put together. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. Okay. This is not a cultural thing. This is an intelligence thing. All right. So where do you think we're at? Okay, we've got this attack that's happened. There's been no major sort of report or anyone coming back talking about substances or anything like that. Uyghur. Thank you, Gorty Rogers. Thank you. Uyghur. Is that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Gorty. What are you trying to get me to say here? Oh, you're okay. It is pronounced that. Okay. Nice one. It's pronounced weird. How do you all know this? Oh, I'm a dumbass. Okay. I apologize, everybody. I apologize. Apparently, you're all smart. I'm a dumbass. Nobody was trying to make me phonetically say a racist term. It turns out that is how it is pronounced. Uyghur. How though? Like, let me just go back to this. So that must be what those three letters are. Is the we, right? I can't find the post now. Never mind. Yeah, come and join the Discord. Why not? Okay. Okay, Uber, you're on your own with that one. All right, so let me just bring us back to. Oh no, it's this button here. Here. So I don't know how to explain this. It doesn't make any sense from I sell substances point of view. Doesn't make any sense from that. I think that weavers are abused in China. What's a weaver? Like someone who weaves stuff. And I'm not trying to be offensive. Just to be clear. I don't know what that is. If you want to feel stupid, take a Steeples quiz. I freaking love Matthew. Matthew is, we are a very odd little pair of friends. I need to message him, actually. I've not spoken to him this week. It's a type of Muslim in China. Okay. Chinese Muslims. Okay. Steeples is a legend. An absolute legend. As long as you get him interviewed before like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, it's guy's a spicy meatball. In fact, if you're watching this on my channel, can we get some Sleepy Steeples in the side chat? Sleepy Steeples in the side chat, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would appreciate it. Outer Mongolia. Yeah. What is going on? I feel like Yin Yang is on like the most Frasier level of intelligence comedy right now. Like I can't decide. It's a spicy meatball. All right. So where are you all landed on this? Because an organized attack online to target women, but we don't know who said it, right? We don't know who said it, and we don't know what their intentions were, but it was all over social media. What? Like what? And then we have an interview from a lady who was in the UK, a separate incident, who believes that she was injected with a substance. Rawpath posted to his channel the email he sent Sean to get you all to not listen to me. Who the frick is that? Oh, it's a cult examiner. Why? What are you talking about? Rawpath posted to his channel the email he sent Sean to get you all not. I have no idea what you're talking about, my G. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. So you need to enlighten me. If he sent an email. Yeah, if he sent an email, it certainly hasn't left the Sean Atwood inbox. And there has been nothing forwarded to me about that whatsoever. It's in your DM, Ron. Okay. In my DM. From who? From which DM? Which DM, Mac? In your DM. It's like I'm behind the tree. Mac. Yeah, man. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry. Oh, WhatsApp. Right, nice one, Drew. Nice one. Let's have a look, sir. Mackenstein. Where is Mackenstein? Jesus, Mac. There's nothing in my DMs, bro. Well, there's nothing. Like, what are you talking about? The last, not from you. What are you talking about, bro? So who's it in my DMs from? Oh, from a cult, probably. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, yeah. Okay. What the frick is this? Ron, here's more content made of expense and the slander of my name. Let's have a little look-see here. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Time to get back on this. Right, sweet. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm honestly, this man has proved himself to be the little cretinous skid mark that I assumed that he was. And yeah, we can jump back up on this. Ron's bored, so I don't have. Oh, is this it here? Is this the email? Is this what it is here? I don't think that's an email. No, that's not an email. Nah, sorry guys, I cannot find any email. Oh, the video of the email. Thanking you. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Right, there's our wee buddy. What's she up to? Why is that the Big Lebowski? What's going on here? This is